Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Johnny Likes, the show where I talk about movies that I like. Today I'm going to talk about a movie where it seems that the producers went, hey, Conan made a whole bunch of money. What if we made a movie with like two Conans in it? Today, Johnny Likes The Barbarians.
You tell him, Johnny. You tell the world.
The Barbarians is a sword and sorcery flick from the legendary Canon Globus production group, and it was released in 1987. It stars David and Peter Paul, and it was directed by Ruggero Deodato, the guy who also directed Cannibal Holocaust. So we got little bit of a different tone here. The Paul brothers are himbos that made a few movies together in the 80s and 90s, mostly action and action comedies. And they never really gained too much of a following, which is too bad because I think they had potential to become actual big stars, or to at least have made a few more like low budget action comedies. Sadly, there's only one Paul brother nowadays, as COVID stole David from us. So there's no chance for an old man Barbarians. Which is too bad because I would have really liked to have seen maybe these guys as old men cracking wise. It's a bunch of buff, great hair guys. It's got potential, I think. So the Pauls play Gore and Kuchek, a couple barbarians who are separated when they are young, and they are reunited in later in life once they have really filled out. They are seeking revenge against Kadar, played by Richard Lynch, who is an evil warlord and the guy who separated them and killed off their tribe. Along their way on their quest for vengeance, they have much adventure with different characters and creatures. Once in a while, I crave a hack and slash movie. A fantasy full of sorcery, magic, witches, creatures, and fantastical lands. I've seen many of these types of films over the years. The Conan movies, Sword and the Sorcerer, Beastmaster, Deathstalker, Red Sonja, Dragon Slayer, Excalibur, Krull, Lady Hawk, Sorceress, The Warrior and the Sorceress, Willow, Legend, and even some of the sequels to some of these movies. And every time I think that I must have seen them all by now, I hit up the internet to find another one to scratch that itch. I was kind of surprised that I hadn't come across this one until recently. Still, it's better late than never, I guess. This is a good bad movie. Let me get that right out of the way. This movie is good in a last call at the bar type of way. It's not the first or best choice, but it will get the job done. And honestly, you won't even be all that mad at yourself in the morning. This movie is campy and fun with surprisingly good production values. The movies I mentioned, the lower budget ones anyways, typically look like they were filmed in the woods outside of Vancouver or somewhere in Britain. This film somehow managed to look a little bit more foreign to me, and I couldn't really put my finger on it until I did a little bit of research. Turns out it's just Italy. Nevertheless, it still looks gorgeous. Really helps to make this film just a little bit different and unique compared to its competitors. Plus, there were lots of lovely just landscape shots, mountains in the background, forest, rolling green hills, that sort of stuff. Landscape. The production values as a whole were pretty much all above average, actually. And the more I watched it, the more surprised I found myself. Like, it actually has really good makeup and creative costumes and pretty great sets. It's also fairly funny. The humor is decidedly not intellectual, but that's not really a problem. The scene where the barbarians are fighting in a cage and one of the spectators gets his hand cut off, that's gold. So I would wager that boys aged around 8 to 14 years old would just love this movie. Like, girls might too, don't get me wrong, but I'm very sure about the boys. This movie is made for little boys. In fact, I'm a little jealous that I didn't see it when I was a little boy, as I would have loved the hell out of this. The performances are split about 50-50 between taken not seriously enough and taken a little bit too seriously. It's not a problem or especially distracting, it just makes for a slightly inconsistent tone. If you're familiar with any of the films I mentioned earlier, you should kind of have an idea of what to expect here. There's going to be lots of buff, bare-chested dudes wearing like leather loincloths and swinging swords. There's going to be bare-chested women wearing like fur bikinis or fur loincloths, I guess. There's going to be swords. There's going to be spells. There might even be a dragon. It's all that sort of genre stuff. I will say this one is definitely on the lighter, less serious side of the spectrum. Like, I would put it tone-wise around like Red Sonja. Maybe a little bit sillier, but that's kind of the ballpark in terms of quality. I happen to like Red Sonja. I know some people hate it, but it's got a place in my heart. So if you're looking for a sword and sandals movie and are running low on choices, I would recommend giving this one a shot. You could do much worse, that's for sure. Even just in the movies I mentioned, they're not all gold. And I would say this is perfect for like a lazy Sunday afternoon or like a late like midnight fare, like a late Saturday or Friday or Saturday night. I'm gonna rate this a 3 out of 5. It's good, not great, but it's good. Anybody out there seen any of the Paul brothers' other movies? And if so, are any of them worth checking out? Am I the only one who liked this movie? What's another underloved canon movie? You could answer me in the comments, that'd be great. And if you could do me a favor and like and subscribe, it's quick, free, and relatively painless. Plus, it really helps me out. Thanks for watching me talk about movies for a little bit, and you can tune in next time to see what else Johnny likes.
Tell your friend to behave herself.